how to restrict the data and how to use a where clause inside a select query, how to use a where clause inside a select query, and how to order the data, So these two things we are going to discuss in the today's class. So whenever we retrieved the query yesterday, and when we have written the query yesterday, so what we have done is that we have used we have retrieved the entire data what is available in the table and we have viewed it, but we never return a query to restrict the data. In the sense, suppose let's say I want to see the data only for a department number 90 or only for a department number 50 or some kind of a restriction, some kind of a filtration of the data. So how can we do that? So the filtering of the data or the restricting of the data can be done by using the where clause of the query. So how to use a where clause? So whenever you write a query after the from clause, you are going to use the where clause of the query. So how to use it? Let's say you have an employee table and I don't want to retrieve all the data what is available in the employees table. I want to retrieve only the department number 90 data. So how can you achieve that? So this can be achieved by using the where clause. Now let's say I want to retrieve the employees whom we have select last name, salary, and you want to retrieve the job ID as well as the department ID. I would like to fetch it from the department table from. So what is the table name? So you would like to retrieve the data from employees and only the department number 90. So that I can use, this is a new thing that we are looking here. So that is where, so if I use where department ID is equal to 90, that can be. So when you execute a query, now this will give you only the data. Who belongs to department number 90. So that is how you can restrict the data by using the where clause. So we have a different ways of restricting the data. And different conditions. Now we are going to see what kind of comparison operators we can use and what kind of comparison operators we can use it. So this, and let's say whenever you're actually comparing the values of character columns or any dates. So as discussed yesterday, whatever that you enclose within the single quotes is a case sensitive. Whatever you enclose within the single quotes is a case sensitive. In the database level, if you have some value and you are passing some value, then you cannot retrieve the data. Let's say now you want to retrieve the employees whose last name is King. So let's try and retrieve all the employees. Let's try and retrieve all the employees without any where clause here. So to understand. So if you see, the King is something that which is stored in the init cap. In the init cap, which means like K is a capital and all the other are the lowercase letters. So to check this now, if I pass the where last name is equal to King in the lowercase, it will not be retrieved. It will not retrieve the data because you are passing the last name in the lowercase, and whereas in the database it is stored as in the table level, it is stored as capital KING. So how can you achieve this? Whatever you enclose here is a case sensitive, so you have to pass the correct format of the data. How it is stored in the database. Then only it will retrieve the data. So from here, what we can understand is that you have to use case sensitive, whatever the data that you enclose in the single quotes is a case sensitive. Even the dates when you are passing, that is also case sensitive, or a format sensitive, or even the dates are format sensitive when you are enclosing in the single quotes. We'll see the different types of usage of dates and how to use it. And there are the different comparison conditions where you can use these comparison operators, greater than or equal to, not equal to, and not equal to, and all these things. And along with this, you can also use the between and operator, how to use how to fetch the data for multiple values, and how to use the like operator, and how to use the is null operator, all these things we will see one by one. So suppose, let's say you want to retrieve the employees who are earning the salary greater than 10,000, so how can you write it? So fetch all the attributes, whatever the required attributes that you have, where salary is greater than or equal to 10,000. This will give you the employees. Who are earning the salary greater than 10,000. Sorry, it is 10,000, not the 1,000. So let me just retrieve the data again. So if you see now, it has retrieved the data greater than or equal to 10,000. So similarly, you can use a less than or equal to, not equal to symbol and all those things. Let's say I want to retrieve the employees who are not belongs to department number 90, then you can use a not equal to operator by using this, where department ID is not equal to 90. So now what will happen? So it doesn't give you the department number 90, and it will give you all the other employees who belongs to this. So if you see now, the 90 is not being retrieved. So you can use a not equal to operator directly on the column level. So that's how you can use a comparison operator. And the next thing is that, let's say I want to retrieve the employees who belongs to department number 90, 10, and 20. So how to compare the list of values? So this can be done by using the in operator. So if you use the in operator will help you to understand. The list of values retrieved by us. So let's say 90, 10, 20. 90, 10, and 20. So when you try and retrieve now, so when you are passing the multiple values, each value should be separated by comma within the parentheses. So when you try and execute now, so this will give you the data employees who belongs to department number 90 as well as 10 and 20. So by using an in operator, you can match the list of values. So that is how you can also use the in operator along with a comparison operator. And the other thing is that, let's say you want to compare the range of values. In the sense, I would like to retrieve the employees who are earning the salary between 10,000 and 20,000. I want to retrieve the employees who are earning 10,000 and 17,000. Let's say 10,000 and 17,000. So when you try and retrieve the data, so using between is an operator, and 10,000 is a lower limit, and the upper limit is 17,000. So when you try, and this is a lower limit and this is a upper limit. So when it is extracting the employees, it will also retrieve the employees who are earning 10,000, and it will also retrieve the employees who are earning 17,000. So that means this lower limit and this upper limit are inclusive within the range. So when you try and execute this, here, so this will give you, see here, it has retrieved the employees who are earning the 17,000, and at the same time, it has also given you the employees who are earning the salary as 10,000. That means in between 10,000 and 17,000, will be retrieved. Likewise, you can use a between operator, lower limit and the upper limit, lower limit and the upper limit. So this is how you can use comparison operators. And next time is important thing is about the like operator. So the like operator is used for a pattern matching. In the sense, like, let's say whenever you have a requirement and you want to identify the employees whose name is starting with S or whose name is starting with K, I have this kind of a requirement, whose name contains a A or whose name contains a B, all these kind of things. So how to match the data by using the like operator. Let's say now your requirement is that, so you want to identify the employees whose name is starting with K. So even whatever the data that you are passing within the codes, that is a case sensitive. So to understand about the like operator, you need to use about the percentage. Percentage is a wildcard character. Which is used to match the one or more characters, it will replace one or more characters, which is used to replace one or more characters. And there is one more wildcard which you can use, that is your underscore. Underscore wildcard is used to replace a character. So how it will work? How the underscore and the percentage can be used together to find the pattern matching. So when you are passing the case or when you are passing the values, it should be in the same level in how the database is stored in. Let's say I want to retrieve the employees. Let's say I want to retrieve the employees whose last name is starting with K. So how to use it? Where? So let's say in all the names, so last name, like is an operator, that is in your compare. So I want to find out the employees whose last name is starting with K. So use K and then the wildcard character you want to use. If you want to look for one or more characters, then you need to use a percentage. Means it will try and match one or more characters after K. So it will try and retrieve you the employees whose name is starting with K. So if you see, percentage means it can be percentage means after a K, if you have one character or even a multiple characters, it will try to match. It will try and match the employees whose last name is starting with K. That means which you can use this to understand how it is using it. Percentage is used to match always one or more characters. And the next thing is that suppose let's say you want to understand the employees. Whose last name is ending with R. Then how to use it? So it's a similar kind of a thing. So you would like to understand the employees whose last name is ending with R. So the percentage is used to match the multiple characters. So use percentage R. So that means it will give you the employees whose last name is ending with R. So if you see Kochar, Nair, Philtanker, Tucker, Oja, Kumar, Taylor. So everywhere if you see before R you might have any number of characters. It doesn't matter. Before R it can have any number of characters. It will try and match the data. For all the characters. So you can use percentage or K percentage to find out. Let's say you have another requirement. To find out how many people have the C in their names. C. character C in their names, whether it can be first or last or anywhere. I mean within that, how many people have the character C in their names? Character C in their names. So how to use it? So we identified with the first character, we identified with the last characters. And now if you want to identify, okay, so before even stepping into that, I would like to understand how many people have the second character as O in their names. Second character as O in their names. So how can we identify? So in the similar way, so in order to skip the character, so whenever you want to skip the character, you can use underscore. That means it will skip the character whatever is available there. Whatever is available there. Underscore, let's say I want to identify the employees whose last name second character is O, whose last name is second character is O. So when you use underscore O percentage, whatever may be the value that is present in the first, it will skip that character. It will not match it. So Kocher. So if you see all these employees have their O in their last names. O as a second character in their last names. O as a second character. Or let's say you want to skip two characters, then you need to use double underscore. You need to use double underscore to do that. So let's try and find out how many employees have the third character as O in their names. Third character as O in their names. So you can use underscore underscore. You can find out the way how it is. And let's say you want to identify, I want to identify now O in their names in any place O in their names should be displayed. Any place. It can be a first character, or it can be a second character, or it can be any character. I want to identify who and all the employees whose last name contains the O. Whose last name contains the O. When you try and use percentage O percentage, before O it can have any number of characters, and after O it can also have any number of characters. Now when you try and use this, so see here Kocher, who is having the second character as O in their name, and Hanold, he is having as a fifth character, and Lawrence, second character, Pop, Ku, you have two O's. Likewise, it will identify the patterns. So likewise, so whenever you want to identify the pattern matching, like operator plays a major role in identifying the patterns. So you don't know what kind of data is being stored, and if you want to use a like operator on top of it, you can use a like operator with the help of a percentage, and with the help of an underscore. You can find out the pattern matching things, right? So that is how you can use a like operator to do that. And the next thing is about the is null operator. So yesterday we have seen what is a null. So one thing in Oracle is that you cannot even compare the null value by using equal to operator. Let's say I have a requirement and I want to identify the employees who are receiving the commission as null, who are not receiving the commission at all. So you have a commission percentage column. Last name, salary, commission percentage, job ID, and the department ID. So when you try and retrieve, so this will give you the employees who are receiving the commission as well as that. So now, if you want to identify the employees who are not receiving the commission, as a null value. So how to use it? You cannot remember it's fundamentally wrong when you are comparing a null value with an equal to operator. So null is something that which Oracle cannot evaluate, and you cannot compare something like this. When you try and give, it is fundamentally wrong and it doesn't give any kind of a data. Then how to compare the null values? So to compare the null values, always you have to use is null operator. Not equal to null. So if you try and give now, it will give you the employees who are receiving the commission as a null value. who are receiving the commission as a null value. So do not compare any time, do not perform any arithmetic operators on the null value, because you will get the inconsistent data. You will get the inconsistent data with respect to that. So that is how you can use the comparison operators. That is how you can use the comparison operator with a single condition. So I would like to hear if you have any questions with the things that we have discussed.